What's up, Lions fans? This is Zack Moran coming to you from the Detroit Lions podcast and Lions Wire, bringing you today's studs and duds for the Lions' victory over the Carolina Panthers. First, to start off, please like and subscribe to the video. Allows us to do all this fun stuff, bring you this awesome content on a weekly basis. Great stuff. Never can go wrong with it. What a victory, right? Lions came in, did exactly what they needed to do. They took care of business over a less than superior team and bringing their record to 4-1 for the season. It was a great performance, and finishing off from last week against the Packers, just keep rolling with it. It was a less stressful victory. It's a little interesting to get used to. That's for sure. Not to a point where you felt that they were going to slip away. And especially with the injuries today, next man stepped up and did exactly what he needed to do. To start off with our start list. Too easy. It's Aidan Hutchinson. At this point, he has a permanent spot on my start list. The guy comes in on a weekly basis and just takes care of business. First, he did one of the most athletic interceptions you'll see from a defensive lineman. He read that play beautifully, stuck with him, one-handed the ball and took it, and gave the Lions a short field to work with. Yeah, he took a hit at the end. I'm sure made all of us nervous, walking gingerly, but I think it's going to take a lot more to keep him out. The guy is full of steam, ready to take on. In the run game, got a sack later on. There's no stopping him. The people think he had no trend to go up. He hit his wall last year. Look again. He's getting better every week, and I'm sure all of us are loving it. Our next stud. Along with Josh Reynolds today. I know typically I'll probably go with Sam Laporta on any given day, especially with a 2-touchdown day. But with Amon-Ra out, it was going to be interesting to see which receiver was going to, or playmaker was going to step up. And it was Reynolds. He was making one catch after another, tough balls, high pointing it, coming down with it. It shouldn't. Honestly, he should have shot it. He's been a consistent target for golf all year, and yeah, he had a drop earlier. But the thing about this Lions team is that they're able to put these mistakes away, learn to forget, move on, and that's exactly what I did. And then later on, he catch a nice little toe drag touchdown right at the edge of the end zone. It was good to see being second target behind Amon-Ra, and he was able to elevate his game even further. Like I said earlier, next man up. That's what he did. And the great thing is the offense didn't miss a beat. Everyone's like, "Oh, what we're going to do without Gibbs? What are we going to do without Amon-Ra?" Well, score 4 or 5 points. That's whatever. It worked absolutely. And my next stud, another surprise, was Will Harris with another one with Branch out, and another player who stepped up playing that nickel role. It seemed like wherever the ball was, he was right there to make the play. And if he did allow the catch, the player wasn't going anywhere. It stopped him right in his tracks. And he also had a great pass breakup in the end zone. Fortunately, they would go on to score later on. But either way, for him to get where he needed to and track the ball and knock it out was amazing. And then later on, he would recover the fumble that was caused by Benito Jones, and which led to the Reynolds touchdown. Harris has caught a lot of fun, absolutely, but he has elevated his game and has improved dramatically to a point where the coaches trust him to put him in this role, and he's proving doubters wrong. knowing that he can perform at this level, even with Branch out, gives a nice little warm feeling that the depth of this defense is something we're not used to. And it's great to have. Absolutely. Moving on to our duds list. First one I have to highlight is Jack Campbell. We have been spoiled by the play from our rookies. I mean, like I said, Sam Laporta breaking every tight end record there is in the NFL. I mean, it's continued success. Brian Branch has been a force on the defense. It gives another element that we haven't seen. So I'm sure we were anticipating big things from Campbell, but thankfully the Lions have a nice little rotation in linebacker with Anzalone and the accelerated play from Barnes. But today, unfortunately, his weaknesses were picked on. Sure, he was great in run run stop. That's what he's known for. But where he's lacking is in his coverage. He allowed that short field touchdown to Ian Thomas earlier, and then later on he allowed a big gain. He passed off, but didn't full on cover with I think it was Thomas again. So his coverage still need a little refinement. Thankfully, they have time to work with this. Like I said, because the rotation it allows them to grow a little bit more. And today, thankfully we were able to get into a massive league where we're able to put him more of a role and see how he handled with the as a true linebacker. Because last week he was more gliding off the edge and playing off that role. So put him in a Mike format was a nice little sight to see. Skills are there, just needs a little bit of improvement. Second on my list, it's not necessarily a player, it's more with the team in itself opening up the second half. Last week we saw one of the more dominant first halves from the Lions team than we haven't seen. And rolling into the second half, spirits were high and rolling. It was great to see. But unfortunately, took the gas off the pedal, and the Packers were banking the slow, steadily comeback, but it didn't lead to anything. But it was recognized and hoping that they were like, okay, we learned that lesson, we're not going to do it again. Unfortunately, it reared its ugly head again this week. Instead, the Lions opened the second half with the ball, and their first 2 drives, they punted. So, not necessarily something you want to see. Thankfully, they didn't bite us in the butt too bad. But it needs something that needs to be addressed. It needs to be figured out. Because if we give any teams these extra opportunities to come out and potentially take over the game after a dominant first half, like what they've done the last 2 weeks, it could end up costing them. So hopefully it's one of those things that we look at and figure out. I'm sure the coaches are aware. The coaches are quite in tune with everything that's going on. I wouldn't sweat too hard about it, but hoping this doesn't turn into more of a trend. Now, not necessarily a stud or a dud, but more of a Jameson Williams. Everyone hyped him up coming off his suspension 2 games early, thinking he's going to be a massive part of this offense. Well, Dan Campbell came right and said, guys, we're going to bring him in slowly. He's not going to play a massive role. And people chose to ignore it, especially with Amon-Ra out. And I believe some of those people are disappointed, but expectations should have been tempered. Unfortunately, he did in his catching role. He didn't have the best of performances. He missed one easy ball that I'm sure he could have taken it for a good amount of gain. I think he heard the footsteps pretty close from one of the defenders and probably was a little about it. Kind of scared him a little bit. But those jitters, they'll come and they'll go. Once they get more playing reps for him. But where he excelled at was blocking. And something that was addressed quite early with him. You don't block, you don't get the rod, as the mantra goes. And it was evident that his blocking skills was strong. He put a key block in Montgomery's touchdown run to open the game, and with their first drive. And he also had another block later on in the game where it sprung Craig Reynolds for a massive gain that ultimately led to his first career touchdown, which is great to see. So that was actually surprising. It was his first one. I thought he had one earlier. But as you can see, expectations need to be tempered. Still some things that he needs to work through, but he'll be part of this offense, and he's going to go strong with it. The other key highlights I wanted to hit on, like I said, Sam Laporta with his 2 touchdown game continues to rock it. You love seeing it. The offensive line, creating those holes, giving him protection. You can see Decker still dealing with some of his the injuries that he was dealing with, but his 100th start, can't ask for more from the veteran. And the defensive line once again put a stop to the run game. Wasn't much there for him at all. Jerry Jacobs with his INT, that was probably one of the better ones you've probably seen from him. Nice takeaway. I mean, in the offense in turn, scoring 21 points off turnovers. That's exactly what good teams do. Capitalize off those turnovers. And it put them in the driver's seat, and it veers them off. Well, it was a great game. It was a great game to see. Like I said, less stressful one. Having to see the roll 4-1, right in the driver's seat in the division, and holding tight with it. 4-1 start is fantastic. But I would like to go with my prayers and hopes go to Chandler Zavala. It was a scary incident. Hopefully he recovers. Last I looked, he was in good spirits, moving extremities, and everything's good. But I like to give out my prayers to him, and a full recovery. Well, that'll do it for me, Lions fans. Cheers. Enjoy the victory. It's been a great one. Have a good one.